In a world where political theorists often fantasize about utopian visions of perfect governance, the harsh realities of the political landscape frequently clash with such idealism. The notion that politics can be purely moral, just, or idealistic has, for centuries, inspired a range of theoretical discussions about the perfect society. But what happens when you step back from these grand ideas and face the raw and complex nature of political life? Niccolò Machiavelli, one of history's most influential political thinkers, provides a stark critique of this idealistic view in his seminal work, The Prince. Through Machiavelli's lens, politics is not about pursuing lofty moral goals or dreams of perfect justice. It's about pragmatism, power, and maintaining stability in an imperfect world. His disillusioned view of politics challenges the prevailing ideals of democracy, justice, and human rights that have become foundational to modern political thought. In this essay, we'll examine Machiavelli's critique of political idealism and explore how his ideas challenge contemporary political concepts. Before we dive into the intricacies of Machiavelli's political philosophy, a quick word. Welcome to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel. This is the place where we dive deep into history, philosophy, and ideas that shape the world around us. If you're someone who loves unraveling the complexities of thought and learning how the past intersects with modern-day politics, you're in the right spot. Today, we're delving into Machiavelli's The Prince and how his critique of idealism challenges our understanding of political systems. Stay tuned as we explore one of history's most influential thinkers. Machiavelli, an Italian diplomat and political theorist of the Renaissance, famously challenges the moral idealism that dominated political thought during his time. In The Prince, he does not advocate for a set of ethical guidelines or a vision of what a perfect political ruler should be. Instead, he offers a realistic approach to governance based on the circumstances at hand. For Machiavelli, politics is about power, stability, and practical outcomes, often at the expense of ethical concerns. In particular, Machiavelli criticizes thinkers who promote a utopian vision of politics. These idealists, according to him, do not understand the complexity of human nature or the brutal realities that rulers face. He argues that the world of politics is not governed by abstract ideals, but by the necessity of maintaining control and securing the well-being of the state, even if that means resorting to deception, manipulation, or cruelty. Machiavelli's critique of utopian thinking is rooted in his deep skepticism about human nature. According to Machiavelli, idealistic views fail to account for the inherent selfishness, greed, and ambition of individuals, which often result in chaos and instability when put into practice. He contends that a ruler must be prepared to do whatever is necessary, including actions that are considered immoral, to maintain control over their territory and their people. This viewpoint clashes with the idealistic notion that politics can be perfectly just or that leaders should always act with virtue. For instance, Machiavelli's advice to rulers includes the use of manipulation and deceit, which is often considered morally reprehensible in traditional political thought. His emphasis on pragmatism over moral purity is a clear rejection of idealism. He writes, "The ends justify the means," suggesting that achieving political stability and securing the power of the state should take precedence over adherence to traditional moral codes. This, in turn, challenges the idea that politics should serve the cause of justice, human rights, or the common good in any idealistic sense. At the core of Machiavelli's critique is the concept of power. For him, politics is essentially about the acquisition and maintenance of power. A ruler, or prince, must be able to maneuver through the murky waters of human desires, loyalties, and fears to ensure that their reign remains secure. In this light, morality and idealism are secondary to the necessity of holding power. Machiavelli's rejection of idealism is especially evident in his treatment of the role of the prince. He argues that a prince should not be bound by conventional ideas of virtue, such as honesty, piety, or humility. Instead, a ruler should be flexible, willing to adapt to circumstances, and willing to take ruthless actions when necessary. For example, he claims that it is better for a prince to be feared than loved if he cannot be both. Fear, according to Machiavelli, is a more reliable motivator for loyalty than love, which can be fickle and dependent on circumstances. This pragmatism challenges the traditional ideals that democracy, justice, and human rights are built upon. In a modern political context, these ideals call for leaders to act with fairness, integrity, and respect for the rights of individuals. Machiavelli's advice, however, prioritizes the preservation of power over these moral considerations, suggesting that the ultimate goal of politics is not to achieve justice, but to maintain stability and control. Machiavelli's critique of idealism directly challenges the foundations of modern democracy and justice. Democracy, as we know it today, is based on principles such as equality, representation, and the protection of individual rights. These ideals are rooted in the belief that political systems should be designed to serve the needs and aspirations of the people, guided by moral principles that ensure fairness and justice for all. However, Machiavelli's political theory undermines this view by arguing that democracy is, in many ways, a fragile system that is easily undermined by human selfishness and power struggles. He does not believe that people will naturally make virtuous decisions for the common good. Instead, he recognizes the role of ambition, fear, and power in shaping human behavior. Democracy, in his view, is vulnerable to corruption and instability, as individuals and factions often act in their own self-interest, rather than for the collective good. Furthermore, Machiavelli's rejection of traditional ideas of virtue also calls into question the role of justice in political life. For him, justice is not an abstract moral principle to be upheld at all costs, but rather a tool that can be used to maintain the stability of the state. A ruler should be willing to dispense justice when it is necessary, but only in ways that serve the interests of the state. This perspective runs counter to the modern ideal that justice is a universal principle that should be applied equally to all people, regardless of their status or position of power. Machiavelli's skepticism toward idealism continues to resonate in contemporary political thought. His influence can be seen in the rise of political realism, a school of thought that emphasizes the importance of power and security in international relations. Realists argue that politics is not a realm of moral perfection, but rather a domain in which nations must act in their own self-interest to secure their survival. In the realm of domestic politics, Machiavelli's ideas have been used to justify the actions of political leaders who prioritize power and stability over moral or ethical considerations. His advice to rulers, whether to deceive, manipulate, or act ruthlessly, has been adopted by some politicians seeking to consolidate power, even if it means violating principles of justice or democracy. However, Machiavelli's work has also prompted critics to reconsider the role of ethics in political life. While his emphasis on power and pragmatism can be unsettling, it has sparked important debates about the balance between idealism and realism in governance. In the modern world, where democratic values and human rights are deeply entrenched, Machiavelli's warnings against excessive idealism serve as a cautionary tale for those who may overlook the complexities and imperfections of political reality. Machiavelli's critique of idealism in politics, as presented in The Prince, is a powerful reminder of the complexities and contradictions inherent in political life. His rejection of utopian visions and moral perfectionism challenges the ideals of democracy, justice, and human rights that dominate modern political thought. By focusing on power, pragmatism, and the harsh realities of human nature, Machiavelli offers a sobering perspective on the nature of politics. While his views may seem ruthless and unsympathetic, they continue to resonate today, offering valuable insights into the ways in which power and politics function in the real world. Whether we agree with his conclusions or not, Machiavelli's work forces us to confront the gap between idealism and reality, reminding us that political success is often determined not by adherence to lofty ideals, but by the ability to navigate the murky waters of human ambition, fear, and desire. If you've enjoyed this exploration into Machiavelli's critique of idealism in politics, be sure to subscribe to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel. We'll continue to explore fascinating ideas, historical figures, and political theories that shape the world around us. Don't miss out on future videos. Hit that subscribe button and join us as we uncover the complexities of the political world. Thanks for watching.